comes record. There we are. So it is January 14th, 2021, a little after 7 o'clock. I have Nolan, Jen, and Sarah here, and we're going to talk about 61633, the curriculum class. And so, so I basically just going to talk my way through the class here, through the course site, and try to talk about, and you all ask questions, and there's no big direction of this. I tend to build the course sites and run the course sites based on the modules, and so the getting started, the technical requirements, meet your faculty. Let's see, about me. I'm a third generation educator. My daughter's a fourth generation. My dad, mom, both brothers, wife, we're all teachers in my family. I spent 22 years in versions of school leadership. And so I worked after 25 years in public ed. I worked for 3 years at DESE. And then I came to Northwest. I'm in my 10th year at Northwest. So how this course flows, I have the first couple modules open, and I generally early in the course, I just don't try to open it all at once, because I rarely get things perfect. So it gives me a chance to make sure they're perfect and kind of get feedback from y'all before I do. So I have it designed by dates, although we are showing the introductions and the UBD assignment, to start building that forward, but that's not due until March 2. And there's resources there. And then we go into the next module talking about walkthroughs. And so each module has a theme. And right now you all should be able just to see the title. And I will start opening more modules up here in the next few days. And eventually I'll get them all open, but I kind of want to get the course to flow a little bit before I do that. One thing I have in here is that there are places in this course where you have assignments to do, but I'm also aware that COVID throws a wrinkle in there. So I try to work an alternative in there if you can't get in the classrooms or locked down, that kind of stuff. So we just go with the flow with that. So here's something that I want to talk about a little bit, and I don't know. I don't know how much you all know about this. In the state of Missouri, I'll just talk like it's completely new information. In the state of Missouri, the performance assessment to get your initial principal certificate involves the Missouri Professors of Educational Assessment, MPEA assessment. There's another title to it, but it's developed by DESE has cooperated with Missouri Professors of Educational Administration to help write and facilitate this assessment. And so in all the courses that I teach, I put a module in here about it. Basically what it is, it's a 4-step project that you do, and it's based around an instructional issue, a curricular issue. And then at the end of your program, there's a course where you will finish it up and submit it. But this is not the kind of thing that you can do during a 7-week course. It's a project. It's a performance project that you need to do. So here's some information about that. And there are 4 steps to it. Identify an issue, research, develop a plan of action, how the plan will be evaluated, and the reflection of it. And so there's 4 steps there. The rubric for this is written in the past tense. How did you do this? How did you do that? Reflect on what you did. There's no hypothetical to this. This is intended that you have done a project. And so I have a link here to the entire MPEA performance assessment that you can look at it. And then, the idea is that you start on it now. And one way for me to help you start on it now is that in this course, it's something that's just I do. I have you upload into a thread discussion so we all see it and do feedback. Step 1, prompt 1, threaded discussion. And you can read here and see what you have to do. Basically, identify a problem and a rationale for the problem. Feedback, and then it's to get you off to a good start and not be thinking that you wait several months before you start on this, because again, it is a past tense project. Dr. Alexander, who is a program coordinator for the EDS program, she has created a video here. That's the short version of that. So I'm just saying you're going to want to spend some time looking at that. And in this course, if you have not already, I'm going to encourage you to get off to a good start on it. And that's why I do that. So go back to modules. Okay. So Jen, Sarah, or Nolan, do you know much about this assessment yet?
No, I
anything about it.
Okay. All right. Well,
I just clicked through that today, but I haven't really dove into that yet.
okay, good. As a teacher, it's fun to be able to share something that's completely brand new. So I'm just saying that I want everybody in this class to get off to a good start. It's not that old. It may be a year and a half old, 2 years old. And we first started doing this, we were seeing that students were getting to the capstone and to the end and having to try to put this together. And they really didn't do a true project. They didn't really lead a team. They didn't really lead a group of people in a instructional leadership role through identifying an issue and solving a problem. And so that's what this is all about. So we've learned to front load this better, and so that you can start thinking about it and start working on it now. That just makes sense to me. So there's that part. I had a question from somebody about the threaded discussions. Right now, I'll put this over here out of the way. Right now, what I try to do is to spread the due dates out just a little bit. The first introduction, this first video, January 17, which is just Sunday? Yes. At the moment, I'm not saying that you have to have the preliminary posting on Wednesday and that kind of stuff. I'm not doing it quite that way at the moment. Basically, the due date is a due date for the whole thing. Once we get in the groove, how I usually write it in here is to say you have to do an initial post and respond to the postings of at least 2 classmates, but all those need to be on separate days. And that just spreads it out. There's not much benefit to a threaded discussion if all the posts real late, but I'm not asking that early in the course, but I will get there. I just like the course to flow a little bit before I start doing that. So that's something that comes up a lot. Let's see, what other things? I don't know. Get down in here to the walkthroughs. We try to make this course flow where what you do in one module is used in the next module, and that kind of stuff. That's the overall goal to this. Let's see here. Let's see, that's where the MPE assessment. Right now, that MPE assessment, step 1 is due February 28th. Okay. Now, there are practicum hours in this course and in all your courses. So let's see, practicum log information here. Okay. So this talks about you having a major and a minor area, elective area. So you count the hours. Your hours working in this class can be tabulated into log. That is part of the design of that. Hours that you spend collaborating with people on your step one, prompt one, that can be logged into this also. So I haven't bumped into anybody that's had a hard time getting all the overall hours that they need. Let's see, this typing here, Dr. Alexander wrote this, and I asked her for it to make sure we're on the same page. And this is cut and paste from an email that she sent me. Okay, so you'll put the logs in the course. I'll give you points for them in the course, but also you send them to the EdLead email that's there. Okay, let's see here. I'm just kind of talking my way through this. I don't have any big grand design other than I just wanted a chance for people to see the whole picture of the course. Okay. Let's see, professional development. And again, you all can just see the very first part of this when I start hitting publish. More of it will become visible. Okay. That was the short and quick version of this. Sarah, Jen, or Nolan, do you have other questions? Do you think that your classmates may have? That, again, I will put this into a YouTube link and put it back into the class, so other people can see it also. So Sarah, do you have other questions that you think I might want to share with everybody in the class?
I don't know if it's relevant to everyone. I haven't been in graduate school in 10 years, and it was all in person. So it's just very new to me. As far as like the discussion prompts, is that just where we go and we would input our thoughts within the discussion? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Is it like, do you submit an assignment? I was looking at the one that's due, I think on the 17th.
Yeah, you just cut and paste it into the spot.
Okay.
And
And there's a video and then an article link and then PowerPoint to look at. Is that
Yes.
correct?
that is correct.
Okay.
And Sarah, if you have specific questions that you don't want on video, just hang on and I'll, when I stop the video, if you want to just chat some more too.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't expect anybody to, ask, questions just about them that everybody would see. That I don't do that. So, but really,
I guess I have one question, just kind
Go
of
ahead.
from looking. So both of the things that you talked about that we're working on over the course of this program, so the assessment that we have to create, and then also the practicum hours, how much of that should we be coordinating with probably like administrators in our building? Like, and I guess that's kind of my question is, obviously the stuff in class, obviously we're working with you and that's stuff that we kind of do on our own, but in terms of needing to coordinate things with people in our district or administrators, if putting a team together and leading something, obviously it sounds like we would need to get in contact with our administrators. What kind of conversation do you think should that be with our admin?
I think that I facilitate this process. And in my 22 years as a school leader, I have plenty war stories, but I don't do that. When I was in grad school, the old professors would, stand up in front and gab and share their old war stories. I try not to do that much. So I really fundamentally believe you will learn more because I'm not stuck on my knowledge. I think you will learn more by bugging the heck out of your administrators and teachers around you about these concepts and picking their brain. And it is true. If I was your principal, I'd want to know if you're putting a team of teachers together, wanting to solve a problem in the building. I would say, okay, well, maybe you want to pick my brain too. Um, so, you know, so to answer it one way is that if I was your principal, I would expect you to be bouncing ideas off of me, because if there's an instructional issue and you're going to be asking other teachers to work on things during their plan time or that kind of stuff, I would want to know about that. I would say, drive on, but I'd want to know. And whatever issues you have going on in the building, one, you'll never hear me ever criticize an administrator. But if you want to talk about things that are going on, because sometimes people go into these kinds of projects and I read them and they are taking some pot shots at their leaders. And I think, not that I don't go back, I don't share it with their principal, but I'm thinking, until you've really walked in the shoes of a principal and know the stresses and the demands, it's hard to really understand it until you've done it. So to answer your question, I would hope that you're collaborating with everybody around you, and that you pick a problem that fits, but it's also small enough that you can get your minds around it, not some grand district-wide thing, an instructional issue within your building, and something that's doable. The performance assessment does not require, the rubric does not require that it's a massive district-wide initiative. Doesn't ask for that. It's more about the process of you facilitating a team to identify a problem and work your way through it. An instructional issue problem. Okay. Now, I've always had the belief that the first step of good instructional leadership is for a principal to set the tone of a building where good instruction can take place. Now, some purists don't quite see it that way, but I've always been a huge advocate for strong routines, procedures, a calm, efficient, well-run school, where first day of school, most times we would try just open our doors and let the kids go to class and get in the groove. So that was my approach as a principal. I wanted routines and procedures that would almost run themselves. So I don't know, I'm kind of hitting all around it. Nolan, have I answered your question?
Yeah, I think somewhat. I think the other part of that is like, again, the hours. Are we going to need to find ways to earn some of those hours outside of our coursework? Like you mentioned that we're getting some of those hours for doing our coursework. So that was kind of where I was leading. So is this something we need to approach our administrators about, looking for some responsibilities like that to meet those hours?
Well, the answer is yes, but you will find that each course will drive you to activities where you will get your hours. Okay, now that's one way to answer that. I'm not trying to be coy or anything, but for example, you're getting into this walkthrough concepts here. That if you're walking into classrooms or you're talking to your leadership about how they do walkthroughs, how they get in the classrooms, what are they looking for? Those are, you document every minute of that. So
Okay.
That's an example where the activities and assignments of the class drive you through the hours that you need for the overall practicum experience.
No, I think that's an answer. That's a great answer. I appreciate that. That helps a lot.
And so every class will have places like that where you are getting the hours. Okay. And the expectation will be that, if you're a high school person, that you're getting some hours in middle school or elementary, and vice versa, which was a little bit of a newer concept for us. But it's a great concept. I was a middle school teacher and I became a high school principal. I was a middle school principal for a short time too. And I've spent time at the university. I've spent a lot of time in elementary schools. And I think, an elementary principal, I mean, I'm not saying it's any easier. But the night activities I had as a high school principal and the very public politics involved with being the high school principal, and those things get really tiring. And in hindsight, I'm thinking, well, maybe if I'd been a middle school principal, I wouldn't have lost my hair quite as quick. I don't know. I love teaching in a middle school. I was dorky enough to enjoy that. Okay. Any other thoughts or questions from any three of you, or something that maybe I've missed that maybe anybody else in the class might be looking for?
With the practicum hours, you may have addressed it, but do we log those in a certain way on Canvas or?
There's forms at the bottom of the Canvas site.
Okay,
There's forms down here for it.
got it.
And they're right here are the forms.
Okay. And
And
as far as I'm in the elementary, so as far as getting experience for secondary, would I reach out to my building administration, or
I would
what would you
first, yeah.
suggest?
I would first, and then look for a relationship with someone. I didn't say that quite right. Look for a link with someone at a high school or middle school, where you can get some experience in those other buildings. Okay, that might take people out of their comfort zone just a little bit, but it's really good as a principal. And at my time at DESE, when I was at DESE, they were doing the. I spent time in the school improvement section, where we were doing the big MSIP visits, and we go to a district and literally walk into every classroom in the district and sit down and provide feedback. And so, I was my world was as a high school principal, but I was going into elementary music, elementary art, elementary PE, middle school SPED. So as an administrator, I had to become comfortable walking into any kind of classroom and get my mind around providing clinical, strong feedback for any teacher that I was watching. And I also learned that going in the classrooms, I learned to try to ignore what the teacher was saying or what the teacher was doing. And I would try to focus more on what the kids were saying and doing. And I would sidle up to kids and ask them questions. I'd horrify some of the teachers. But that's just, you learn so much more. I learned that it really didn't matter what the teacher was saying or what the teacher was doing. It's really what the kids are saying and what the kids are doing. And I came to that pretty much at my own, my years being a principal. Then I started reading, well, Hattie was saying that, and Marzano was saying that. I'm thinking, well, hell, I had that first. But I did write it down. So you just learn those things as a principal. And the walkthroughs that you're asked to do here. My goal as principal of Warrensburg High School, building of about 1,000 kids, is a very big, very dynamic place. But one of my daily goals was to walk into every single classroom every single day. That's where I just believe that's where my feet needed to be. And it took a lot of time. And my secretaries knew where I was. I had a radio, I had a phone. I mean, I wasn't out of touch, but I was walking in and out of classrooms because I was providing feedback, because when it came time for me to actually sit down and do an evaluation, an observation, formal observation, the kids, it wasn't a big major deal to see me in and out of the classroom because I was in and out all the time. And I encourage my assistant principals to do the same thing. The same way that our rule was as administrators and counselors is that we never had meetings that lasted through the passing period, because you were always in the hallways during passing time, because we believed that setting the tone for instruction began by setting the tone of the whole building. And you do that by being a leader, being visible, being out among the kids, walking where the most difficult kids are, and just basically just being a presence. And you all know this, and expecting the teachers to be leaning in the doorways between classes too. And that just leads for a much more safe, calm building, as calm as a comprehensive high school can be, or any school. Okay. Any other questions? Because now I'm getting kind of just rambling. Okay. Then I'm going to stop share. Sarah, Jen, and Nolan, thank you for being my guinea pigs. But I'm going to stop share and turn off the camera if anybody has a question that they don't want shared with 27 people. Okay. So stop and share. Thank you all for being my guinea pigs. I am, get my button for the stop recording.